Good morning, everybody. It's December 16th. We are less than 10 days away from the big Christmas holiday day. I don't know what day it is that you happen to celebrate, but Christmas is the one that I celebrate. And now's the kind of time of year when we're thinking about bringing things to a close for the year. And many of us have the opportunity to actually plan for it. You know, how are we going to end the next 2 weeks of the year, and how are we going to launch into January? And a lot of us will do some reflection on what we accomplished in the past year, and others of us will create visions about what we want to do for the 2022 season. And it's one of those practices that I think a lot of us really don't take the time to think about. We don't often really reflect on what it was that we accomplished so that we can have the full experience of what it was that we accomplished. You see, we often will say, oh my gosh, I got this document signed, or I got my LLC signed, or I got a big promotion at work. And we don't always think about what are all the little pieces that went into the success of having that happen. You see, a lot of people tend to want to leave companies at this time of the year because they're not feeling very acknowledged. They're not sure if they're going to get a raise that's consistent with the kind of work effort that they put in. They're always looking for some sort of external validation. Sorry, my nose is kind of running today. We're often looking for external validation around to stay in the jobs that we are currently in. And it's important. I mean, it's really important if you need that kind of external validation, but sometimes we don't get it. You know, sometimes we spend a lot of time with our kids and we train them, to come to mom to get external validation. Oh, yes, you did a great job. Oh, here's a ribbon. Here's what you need, to say, yeah, you keep going when things get tough. And then as adults, we continue to look for that external validation. And unfortunately, it's just not always there. And so if that's one of the big reasons why you're thinking about leaving a company, let's get to work on understanding what validation looks like for you. What does acknowledgement look like for you? What is it that you really need when you leave? Because I'm not saying you shouldn't leave. Great Resignation is all about leaving if it's really the appropriate time for you to leave. And we are behind you and we want to support you in that. But we want to make sure that when you leave for the right reasons, right? You want to leave because you want to you want to powerfully leave. You don't want to burn any bridges. And you want to make sure that whatever was missing in that old job, whether you're going to a new job, new company, or you're going to start your own thing, that you don't carry that around as baggage. You may remember the other day, I was talking about carrying around baggage, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I need more acknowledgement. I need more acknowledgement. Somebody please acknowledge me. Except in a grown-up way, it says people don't appreciate me, right? How come they keep asking me to do more? Don't they know? Don't they know what I've already worked so hard? I've already gotten so much done. I'm really tired. That's kind of how a lack of acknowledgement might show up in the workplace for you now. And I tell you, I've been there. I'm still there quite often. I work hard. We all work hard. And we need to find a way to pull from inside to get the acknowledgement that we need to keep moving forward. Because you see, a lot of people don't know how to acknowledge other people. We just don't know how. If we weren't acknowledged on a regular basis by the people that were important in our lives, we don't know how to acknowledge other people, right? A lot of people think that, oh, you're getting paid to do the job. And unfortunately, we still want to be acknowledged. So then we have a bunch of other reasons, and about fifth on the list, we finally say, fine, I am not getting paid enough. I'm not getting acknowledged. And so we leave. And sometimes we really are in jobs where we aren't acknowledged and should be, right? Where people don't recognize the level of work that we're doing. We are not being paid commensurate with the impact that we're having on the company, with our clients, with the environment in which we're working, within the industry, whatever it might be. We are not always getting that acknowledgement. And we are working very, very hard. And it is possible that there's another job where you could get that acknowledgement. But if you're planning on starting your own company, you have to figure out how to acknowledge yourself, right? You have to be able to find that acknowledgement deep down for yourself, because there's nobody else out there, right? And I promise, as much as you think it'll happen, your spouse is not in a position to, your spouse partner not in a position to acknowledge you, your kids aren't in a position to acknowledge you. And most of your friends are going to be like, I can't believe you're leaving a good corporate job with benefits to go start your own company. Are you crazy? So you can't expect to get acknowledgement from your friends. You can't expect to get acknowledgement from your neighbors. You have to be able to reach deep down inside to find out what it takes to acknowledge yourself. Now, some of it is just words. Sometimes we just need somebody to say the words, to just say, the work you've done is amazing and I really appreciate it. And some people need a gift of some sort. Take you out to lunch, get you a gift card, give you flowers. Some people need an acknowledgement that's verbal to the world. I want to acknowledge Dawn for producing X, Y, and Z. You know, sometimes you just want somebody to say thank you. And we each have our own way that we need to be acknowledged. One of the things that I have found very useful is to actually make a list of the things that I accomplished. So when I create a course, for example, you know, I don't just say, oh, I created a class. If I really want to be acknowledged for it, for myself, I say, okay, so I designed the content, which is really exciting. I figured out how to put it in PowerPoint in a new and exciting way. I figured out how to create the audio that goes with it. I found somebody who could help me take it from a 1-hour PowerPoint into 3-minute sections, so that as my students are watching the PowerPoint, they're not overwhelmed by 1 hour's worth of information. They can do it in bite sizes. I created a workbook to go side by side with it. And I've got a workbook now for every session and every exercise. And when I started to write down everything I had to do to make the course come into reality, I realized everything that I had done. And I could acknowledge myself for all the hard work, right? But often it's kind of like, okay, the course is done, we're on to the next thing. No, you want to spend some time, look at all of the great things that you've accomplished this year, whether you're in your own business and you're thinking about going back to corporate America, or you're in corporate America and you're going to change jobs, or you're going to start your own company. Being able to acknowledge what you've accomplished is critical. So I want you to, I really think that's an important piece for today, because there are more and more people that are leaving corporate positions and starting new companies, or at least starting companies as a side hustle. I learned that last year, well, from February of 2020 to March of 2021, they expect about 600,000 businesses to close down. And in that time period, 800,000 closed down. So normally every year, 600,000 companies just shutter for whatever reason, but an extra 200,000 shut down, and they think because of COVID. But in that same time period, there were 4.3 million new applications for business. So while 200,000 closed down, 4.3 million new businesses came online. And it's important. I think it's really, really, really very exciting. But the thing is, most of those people who have started these new businesses have a great idea, right? But they don't necessarily have the skills. They don't necessarily know how to test the market to make sure their product concept is going to fly in the format that they want it. You know, a lot of people create a cool thing because they needed it, right? Necessity is the motherhood of invention. You might create the coolest new mouse for, you know, working on the computers. You know, I love this mouse, right? So it goes flat, it's very flexible, right? But if you don't do any market research to understand who is your client, you might make 10,000 of these or 100,000 of these, and nobody wants them because you've did something that worked for you, but didn't work for other people, right? So a lot of new people are going out and creating something new in the marketplace. You want to be able to acknowledge your new idea, right? Be confident in your new idea, but you also need skills to understand, how do I market? How do I bootstrap? How do I do the step-by-step planning? Am I doing things in the right order? You know, are you creating your logo too soon? Have you created a website that has language on it that doesn't make sense once you do the customer discovery work? Do you know how to build partnerships? Do you know how to be a leader in your organization? Are you self-disciplined? Are you going to be able to get your business up and running and do it by yourself, acknowledging yourself along the way? Because you're going to be operating alone quite often. I mean, unless you have a really great team that's ready to go, then you still need to be able to work together and function together in a team in a new environment in which many of you have never operated. And those are actually the most exciting times. You can be so creative and you can dream big and lots of brainstorming and figure out who are all the people that you want buying and selling your products and representing your products. But you still need to be able to acknowledge your own successes when things are getting tough. You need to be able to acknowledge the skill set that you currently have. And you need to acknowledge that it's okay that you don't know how to do everything. And that's where Liz and I come in, is we provide you with the skill sets that you need to be able to launch your business effectively and appropriately and at the right timeline. And so what I want to encourage you to keep thinking about this word of acknowledgement. So there's acknowledgement like appreciation, recognition, right? Then there's acknowledgement like understanding, right? Acknowledging like, this is what I know and this is what I don't know. So you want to be able to take an inventory for yourself of and acknowledge the skills that you currently have. Maybe you're really great at marketing. Maybe you're really great at public speaking. Maybe you're really great at designing products. Maybe you're good at building partnerships or fundraising. What are the skills that you're going to bring to your new business? You want to acknowledge those skills now. You want to think about, what are you good at in your current job that you're going to be able to bring to your new company if you're going to be making the big jump, right? We want to be able to translate that information into information that'll work in your new company, especially if you're launching one on your own. So one of the things that Liz and I will have you do is we'll have you acknowledge what you've accomplished and why you're most proud of the things that you've accomplished, right? Because those are the kinds of things that you'll want to be able to achieve in the next iteration of your life. And then you want to create an inventory of the skills that you have. It's not like a resume, but it's like a real inventory of everything that you know how to do. And then you'll make a list of all the things that you don't know how to do. And chances are there's something in the skills that you know how to do that we can figure out how to work with and what you don't know how to do. But these things are all really critical if you're going to jump. And it's a really important part of the reflection of the past year. So I say this quite often, but whether you're jumping or not jumping, right? Whether you're in a business, you're going to change positions or you're going to change companies, it doesn't matter. It's really important to reflect on what you've accomplished and give yourself the accolades that you need. Because wherever you go next, you're still going to have to give yourself the accolades. We can't rely on external forces to give us the accolades that tell us how great we are. Because when that's important and when that's required, then when you hit a wall, when you hit that wall, you have nowhere to go but down onto the ground, right? When you hit the wall where no one's acknowledging what you did because you need external validation, how do you pick yourself up when you are your own kind of business owner? So one of the things that we've created as part of our Money Master Plan Mastermind and our 7-Figure Club is a community. It's a place where you can come to get validation. It's not going to be the same kind of validation as your boss might give you, but it's people who can validate your ideas, people who can help you when you're feeling down in the dumps because you haven't had enough sales this month. Or people who can say, oh my gosh, this is great. Keep going with your website. The language is great. Maybe you might want to tweak a few things here and there. But our programs actually help you with the visioning, right? Understanding what's enough, understanding how to create your plan. And that incorporates what skills do you have and what skills do you need so that you can acknowledge yourself, so that you can keep moving forward, so that you can keep going in the face of not a lot of agreement sometimes. And I don't mean to be a downer about starting your own business, but I think a lot of people enter into this not realizing the hard work that it really is to get a business up and running and why it's so important to have partners. So I would encourage you to come and chat with Liz and I, and I'll put into the chat where you can reach us, but you can schedule a call with us at any time. We'll help you mind map out your dreams and your goals. We'll help you create, you can talk to us about your own yellow brick road and where you're heading. What's your vision? Where's your North Star? What are you most worried about? We'd love to sit down and chat with you and share some ideas, and then to see if it's appropriate for you to participate in one of our programs, because your life can change in an instant. You can, when I reflect on, so I'm going to step back for a second. When I was thinking about this whole process of acknowledgement and the ability to reflect on everything that you've done and thinking about the future, there's a lot of people that don't always have that opportunity. Sometimes people lose their jobs overnight and you don't have a chance to really think about where you've been and where you're headed. You might move into some sort of panic mode because you got fired or the company laid off a bunch of people. Or you can have worked on something really, really hard and then find out that it's no longer needed or wanted, or there's some sort of devastation. And I was thinking about my hairdresser. She's the most amazing hairdresser on the planet. Although today I'm kind of in that messy bun mode, so I'm not sure that you would think that. But anyway, she's been building it. She and her partner had been building this great cabin. They bought land that had an old cabin on it. They rebuilt it. They finally got it really finished, and it's like their pride and joy. She talks about it, and when she talks about it, you just feel like you're right there in the cabin with her, right? And a couple of nights ago, somebody poured gasoline all over it, set it on fire. And luckily, I mean, they had trail cams and cams around the house. They know who did it, and they're working with the police to make it all better. But the point being that luckily she and her partner had been acknowledging their hard work all along the way. And a lot of us really understood the work that they had done and everything they had done to make this place the most magnificent cabin, weekend getaway, summer home for themselves. And overnight, it was gone. I mean, it was just gone. And it was their dream. And you had dreams. You took the job you're in because of a dream, either because the job itself was a dream or the money was going to help you get more toward a dream. And your dreams can disappear overnight for the most unexpected reasons. And while everyone's going to give them the support that they need to get the cabin rebuilt if possible, or whatever they might need, it's not their main home. You need to be able to reach inside and acknowledge all the things that you have done, right? Because maybe the project you worked on is not going to live on any longer, or when you leave, you're not sure if it's going to keep going. Acknowledgement is just such a critical tool that we have to be able to do for ourselves no matter what, and especially if you're going to be in your own business. So I think I've rambled on enough about acknowledgement. And I think that it would be fabulous if you want to share with us some of the things that you've acknowledged. Give us a call. If you need somebody to talk to share what you've done and to try to learn some new ways to get personal acknowledgement, give us a shout. You can reach us. I'll put our calendar out there, plus our website. In the meantime, we've got some classes. We have one that's an evergreen course where people are continually rolling into the community part of it, take the course on your own, and then you come into the community and you share what you're up to and share ideas back and forth. Right now, we have a lot of people sharing ideas and resources and helping each other's businesses grow in ways they hadn't expected. And one person's here in Cincinnati and the other one's up in New York, and they are collaborating on business ideas that they hadn't expected. So join us. We'd love to have you in our Money Master Plan Mastermind program. We'd love to have you take one of our online courses. There's so many ways, but just know that if you're making a big jump, there's a good chance that you're going to need some skills, because not everybody comes with all those skills after working in the corporate environment. And we'd love to support you in that work. So thank you so much and have a great Thursday.